So I kind of want to ask you, like, to go all the way back to the formation of Fear Factory, and just
Okay.
like tell me a little bit, like, tell your origin story. As you know, you don't have to go into too much detail, but just a quick like history of Fear Factory.
Okay. Well, Fear Factory, before we were Fear Factory, we all pretty much had, me, Burton, and Raymond, we were in local bands in Los Angeles. We were all doing our own thing in different ways. And I ended up meeting Burton because I moved into basically like an artist loft, but it wasn't a loft. It was a big mansion and it had 8 bedrooms. And so, this one guy, he rented out each room to different artists.
Was this in
Right?
Hollywood?
In Hollywood, yes, right in the heart of Hollywood, right in the heart. And so
I'm in like Agora Hills, by the way, so I'm not too far away.
Yeah, you're 30 miles out, but yeah, so this is right in the heart of Hollywood, and it was 8 bedrooms, and each room was rented out to different artists. And one of the artists that was living there was Burton, and so I had moved in there because I met this guy named Alex, and Alex said, "Hey, if you're looking for a place to live, this guy's renting out these rooms for only like a couple $100 a month, and all of us artists live there, and this and that." So Alex turned out to be a drummer, and then I met Burton, and then there was another guy named Dave there, and so we started a band called Ulceration.
Okay.
Which was like pretty much a Godflesh ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So you were already doing electronic.
Yeah, but I was working at a record store on Hollywood Boulevard, and one day Raymond Herrera, our drummer, had walked in there, and he was like, I started talking to him, and I said, "Hey man, I'm looking for a band, something more grindcore-ish." And he's like, "Oh, I know a perfect band." So I joined this called Excruciating Terror, which is just brutal, like early Napalm Death, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Right. But I was like, I joined the group, but then I was like, I didn't think they were serious enough, and I wanted to, pursue something else. And I already had 2 bands already before that. I already had a band called the Douche Lords, which we were like an SOD meets Mentors lyrics type of music. So it was like thrash, punk thrash.
Okay.
And then I had another band called Brujeria, which we sang all in Spanish.
I was just gonna ask you about that. I know Brujeria. With Bill? Is Bill Gould from Faith No More?
Yeah, Billy Gould was in the band. Yeah, correct. And so I had these multiple bands going on, but like everything was like a project band. You know what I mean? So I was looking for something more serious.
Mm-hmm.
So because everybody I was jamming with was in other bands, and it was just like a clusterfuck of local bands everywhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, I was at rehearsal one day with the band called Excruciating Terror, grindcore, and the drummer didn't show up, and so Raymond had lived across the street from this band, and Raymond happened to stop by, and one of the other guitar players said, "Hey Raymond, why don't you get on the drums, because the drummer didn't show up? Why don't you get up there and jam?" And so Raymond got back there, and he was like, "Holy fuck!" I heard his feet, and I was like, I got to link up with this guy somehow, and so I ended up quitting Excruciating Terror. I ended up started jamming with Raymond in his other band. He had a band. It was a horrible name. They were called Extreme Death. And so we had this band going on, and then we were jamming in Raymond's bedroom, writing songs. Already writing songs. I was like, I got to do anything just to jam with this guy. This guy is the shit. So I got to like do anything just to jam with him. So we were jamming in his bedrooms until the cops came and said they're going to take our gear if we don't stop playing because we're disturbing all the neighbors. So we had to find a rehearsal space. We found a rehearsal space, and Raymond's like, "Well, my band Extreme Death has got to rehearse here, so you might as well join the band." So I joined the band for like a week, and the singer the singer quit the band because he got a job working for Chippendales.
Oh no!
Funny story. And so I was like, "Ooh!" I go, "This is my opportunity." I said, "Raymond, I got the perfect guy. His name is Burton C. Bell." And so that's how Burton came into the band. We weren't called Fear Factory yet, and so we went through multiple bass players until finally, October 30th, 1990, we settled on the name Fear Factory, and that's when we became Fear Factory. So the three
That's
original members are me, Burton, and Raymond. And my roommate, Robert Murray, was the one who came up with the name Fear Factory. And I bought it from him for a box of Snickers and a few liters of Pepsi. He lived on sugar because he was a bike messenger in downtown LA. So he was delivering packages downtown LA on a bike.
That's a dangerous job.
Yeah, and so he hated cars. But he basically lived off sugar.